The shocking statement: Marcus Sterling is standing on the sidewalk. He is holding a cardboard box and crying. I am sitting in his office, drinking his $40,000 scotch. The betrayal 10 minutes ago. He was the most powerful man in the city. He called me a worthless floor scrubber. He stepped on my hand with his designer shoes. Then he stole my daughter's surgery money and fired me. He hid in trap, but Marcus made one fatal mistake. He forgot to check the ground beneath his feet. My father left me a secret. An ancient document that legally deletes Marcus's entire empire. The lease expired at midnight. The promise: this is how I took everything. Every building. Every dollar. And his dignity. Watch until the end. To see the exact moment the billionaire realized he is a squatter. And I am the king. The lobby of Sterling Holdings is not a room. It is a cathedral of greed. 5 in the morning. The air is cold. It smells of expensive lemon wax and recycled oxygen. The silence is heavy. It hums with the sound of 1,000 servers hidden in the basement. Elias Thorne is on his knees. He is not praying. He is scrubbing. The marble floors are white. They are flawless. They reflect the glowing neon lights of the city outside like a frozen lake. Elias moves his brush in circles. His joints ache. His back feels like it is being stabbed by 1,000 hot needles. He is 52 years old. But this morning, he feels like 100. Every movement is a struggle. Every breath is a choice. He wears a gray uniform. It is 2 sizes too big. It smells of cheap detergent and old sweat. On his chest is a plastic badge. It says Elias. No last name. To the people who work here, he is just a shadow. He is the man who erases their footprints. He is the ghost who cleans their coffee spills. Elias looks at his reflection in the floor. His face is a map of hard years. Deep lines around the eyes. A jaw set in permanent stone. He thinks about his daughter Sarah. She is in a hospital bed 3 miles away. The machines keeping her alive cost more per hour than Elias earns in a month. That thought is the only thing that keeps his brush moving. Scrub, rinse, repeat. Suddenly, the silence breaks. The heavy glass doors at the front entrance slide open. The sound is sharp, like a guillotine falling. A blast of cold winter air rushes in. It carries the smell of wet pavement and expensive tobacco. Heavy footsteps echo. Through the lobby, clack, clack, clack. They are the footsteps of a man who owns the world. They are confident. They are aggressive. Elias does not look up. He knows that sound. It is Marcus Sterling, the CEO, the man whose name is bolted to the front of the building in solid gold letters. Marcus is 34 years old. He inherited a kingdom he did not build. He wears suits that cost more than a family home in the suburbs. Elias moves his bucket to the side. He tries to get out of the way. He leans forward, pressing his left hand against the wet marble to balance himself. His fingers are red from the cold water. His skin is thin. Marcus is on his phone. He is shouting at someone. His voice is a jagged blade. He is talking about a merger. He is talking about billions of dollars as if they were pennies. He is not looking at the floor. He is looking at the ceiling. At the heights of his own power, then it happens. Marcus does not swerve. He does not slow down. He sees Elias on the floor. But to Marcus, Elias is just an obstacle. A piece of furniture. A $4,000 Italian leather loafer descends. The heel is sharp. It is hard. It lands directly on Elias's left hand. The sound is sickening. A dull crunch. Elias gasps. The pain is instant. It is a white flash behind his eyes. It shoots up his arm and settles in his chest. His fingers are pinned against the frozen stone. He can feel the weight of the man, the weight of the money, the weight of the arrogance. Marcus stops. He doesn't move his foot. He looks down, not with pity, not with concern. He looks down with disgust, as if he has just stepped in something foul on the sidewalk. The silence in the lobby is now suffocating. Elias looks up. His eyes are watering from the agony. He sees Marcus's face. It is handsome. It is smooth. It is completely devoid of humanity. Marcus leans in. He smells of sandalwood and ego. He stays there for 5 seconds, making sure Elias feels every pound of his weight, making sure Elias knows his place. Marcus speaks. His voice is low. It is calm, which makes it even more terrifying move. Peasant. He twists his heel. One final grind against Ilias's broken knuckles. Then he lifts his foot. He wipes the bottom of his shoe on the dry part of the marble. He doesn't want the filth of a poor man to ruin his leather. He walks away. He continues his phone call. He continues talking about his billions. He doesn't look back. Elias stays on the floor. His hand is throbbing. It is already turning a deep, ugly purple. He pulls his hand back to his chest. He cradles it. The pain is a physical weight, but the humiliation is heavier. He looks at the wet spot on the floor. There is a small smudge of blood. His blood. On Marcus's perfect marble, Elias feels a heat in his chest. It is not the pain. It is a slow, burning rage. It is the kind of rage that takes years to build, and a single moment to ignite. He looks at his badge, Elias. He looks at the back of Marcus Sterling, who is now entering the private elevator. The gold doors close. The light above the door begins to rise, up to the top floor. To the throne. Elias wipes the blood from the floor with his cleaning rag. He does it slowly, methodically. He is invisible again, but Marcus made a mistake. He thinks he just stepped on a janitor. He thinks he just crushed a bug. He doesn't know about the iron box under Elias's bed. He doesn't know about the bloodline that built this city. He doesn't know that the very land this building sits on is screaming for a change in leadership. The pain in Elias's hand begins to fade into a dull hum. He stands up. His knees pop. His back cracks. He looks at the elevator doors. He is not just a cleaner anymore. He is a predator in a gray uniform. He picks up his bucket. The water is dirty. It is gray, just like his life. But today, the water feels different. Today, the cycle ends. Elias walks toward the service exit. He is done scrubbing for Marcus Sterling. He has a new job now. He needs to find his father's box. He needs to find the paper that will turn Marcus's world into ashdot as he exits the building. The sun begins to rise over the skyline. The light is harsh. It reveals every crack in the pavement. Every flaw on the walls. Elias looks at his hand. It is broken. But he doesn't care. He will use his right hand to sign the documents that will end the Sterling dynasty. The audience feels the sting. They feel the injustice. They are screaming for blood. And Elias Thorne is about to give it to them. He walks into the cold morning, a man with nothing left to lose and a world to gain. But as he reaches the bus stop, his phone rings. It is the hospital. The voice on the other end is cold. Professional, Mr. Thorne, we need to talk about your daughter's account. There has been a change in your employment status. Your insurance has been deactivated. The sting just became a wound. The wound just became a war. The hospital call is a cold blade. It cuts through the morning air. Elias stands on the sidewalk. His broken hand is tucked into his chest. The nurse's voice is flat. It is the sound of someone who delivers death sentences every hour. Mr. Thorne, your daughter's status has changed. The insurance provider has flagged your account. If the payment is not cleared by noon, Sarah will be moved to the general ward. The transplant list will be frozen. Elias feels the world tilt. The sounds of the city become a dull roar. The smell of exhaust fumes turns his stomach. He looks at his hand. It is swollen, dark purple, a physical reminder of Marcus Sterling's boot. But he cannot feel the pain in his fingers. He only feels the cold void in his chest. Sarah is 10 years old. She is his heart, and her heart is failing. He turns back toward the glass tower. Sterling Holdings. It looms over the city like a giant. It looks like a tomb of steel and light. Elias walks. Each step feels like he is moving through deep water. His shoes are old. They squeak on the pavement. He reaches the entrance. The security guard looks at him. The guard knows him. But today, the guard looks away. Elias does not go to the basement. He does not grab his mop. He walks straight to the elevators. The gold ones. The ones for the people who matter. He presses the button for the 80th floor. The executive suite. The elevator is silent. It moves so fast his ears pop. The air inside smells like expensive cologne and filtered silence. The doors slide open. The carpet is thick. It swallows the sound of his footsteps. The walls are covered in dark wood and original oil paintings. This is the place where lives are decided with a pen stroke. Marcus Sterling's secretary is a woman made of ice. She looks at Elias's gray uniform. She looks at his broken hand. Her nose wrinkles, as if a stray dog has entered a palace. Elias does not wait for her to speak. I need to see him. It is an emergency. She tries to stop him. But Elias moves past. He pushes open the heavy oak doors. The office is massive. A wall of glass shows the entire world below. Marcus is sitting behind a desk made of petrified wood. He is looking at a computer screen. He does not look up. He knows who it is. The smell of the room is overwhelming. It smells like fresh mint and old money. Marcus clicks a pen. The sound is sharp, like a bone snapping. Elias speaks. His voice is trembling. Mr. Sterling, I have worked for you for 15 years. I have never missed a day. I have never asked for a favor. Marcus looks up slowly. His eyes are blue, cold, empty. He looks at Elias's hand, the one he crushed an hour ago. He smiles. It is not a kind smile. It is the smile of a predator watching a wounded animal. Elias continues. My daughter, she needs the transplant. The hospital is cutting her off. I have a pension fund, 15 years of contributions. It is over $200,000. I don't want a gift. I want my own money. I need my pension. Now, the silence that follows is thick. It is a physical weight. Marcus leans back in his leather chair. The leather creaks. Sounds like a groan of pain. He picks up a thick folder. He tosses it onto the desk. Elias, you are a floor cleaner. You think you understand contracts. You think you understand how the world works. But you are a child playing in a storm. Marcus opens the folder. He turns to the very last page. He points to a line of text. It is so small it looks like a row of dead ants. This is the Sterling Loyalty Clause. It states that any employee who approaches the CEO directly with personal grievances, without following HR protocol, is guilty of gross insubordination. Elias feels a cold sweat break out on his neck. What are you saying? Marcus stands up. He walks to the window. He looks out at the city he thinks he owns. I am saying you are fired. Effective immediately. No notice. No severance. Elias's heart stops. But my pension, that is my money. I earned it. Marcus turns around. His face is a mask of pure malice. Under Section 4.c of your contract, any employee terminated for gross insubordination forfeits all company-matched retirement contributions. He pauses. He wants Elias to feel the impact. He wants to see the hope die. Since you decided to walk into my office and demand money, you have violated the clause. Your pension is gone. It has been absorbed back into the corporate treasury. Elias moves toward the desk. He is desperate. You can't do that. That is theft. That is my daughter's life. Marcus does not flinch. He presses a button on his desk. Two large men in black suits appear at the door. They are not guards. They are enforcers. Marcus speaks. His voice is a whisper now. It is more terrifying than a scream. It is not theft. 'Tis business. You are nothing. You have nothing. You are a ghost in my building. And ghosts do not own pension funds. He looks at the guards. Get this filth out of my sight. The guards grab Elias. One of them squeezes his broken hand. Elias lets out a muffled cry. They drag him across the thick carpet. I drag him past the ice-cold secretary. I throw him into the service elevator. The doors close. Elias is alone. The light in the elevator flickers. He sinks to the floor. It's the same floor he spent 15 years cleaning. He realizes something. He realizes that hard work is a lie. Loyalty is a trap. The system is not broken. It is working exactly as intended. It is designed to grind people like him into dust. He reaches the ground floor. The guards are waiting. They march him to the front door. They push him out into the cold rain. Elias stands on the curb. The rain is freezing, soaks through his thin uniform. It washes the lemon wax off his skin. Across the street, he sees his daughter's hospital. He can see the lights of the 10th floor. It's the floor where they are currently unplugging her hope. The rage in his chest is no longer a flame. It is a furnace. It is a white-hot sun. He looks at his broken hand. He looks at the Sterling logo on the glass. They took his job. They took his money. They are trying to take his daughter. They think he is a peasant. They think he is weak. But Marcus Sterling made a mistake. A billionaire's biggest weakness is his own arrogance. He thinks Elias is just a cleaner. He doesn't know that Elias has been listening for 15 years. He has been watching, has been learning. Elias reaches into his pocket. He pulls out a small, rusted key. It is the key to his father's iron box. The box he hasn't opened in a decade. He remembers his father's last words. If the world ever tries to bury you, use this key. To bury the world, Elias turns away from the building. He does not cry. He does not scream. He walks into the darkness of the city. He has for hours until the hospital moves Sarah. He has for hours to find the truth. The rain continues to fall. It hides the tears on his face, but it cannot hide the look in his eyes. It is the look of a man who has already died once and has nothing left to fear. He is going home to the basement apartment, to the rusted box, to the secrets that were never meant to be found. The system betrayed him. So he will destroy the system. The rain is a cold shroud. It clings to Elias as he walks the final blocks to the basement apartment. His hand is a throbbing mess of heat and pain. But his heart is a block of ice. He is officially a trespasser in his own city. Marcus Sterling didn't just fire him, he erased him. The hospital gave him 4 hours. 4 hours to prove he is worth saving. 4 hours to keep his daughter on the transplant list. He walks down the concrete stairs. The air smells of mold and wet brick. This is the only place left. A tiny room under the world. He reaches the door. The wood is swollen from the damp. He pushes it open. The hinges scream. It is a sound of pure misery. He does not turn on the light. He does not need to see the empty cupboards. He does not need to see the piles of medical bills. He walks to the corner of the room. He moves the heavy, water-stained rug. Underneath is a loose floorboard. His father, a man who died with nothing but a cleaning rag in his hand, told him to never touch this board, lest the sky was falling. The sky has fallen. Elias kneels. His knees crack in the silence. The floor is cold against his skin. He uses his good hand to pry the board up. The wood splinters. It catches under his fingernails. He does not feel it. He reaches into the dark. Cold space. His fingers brush against cold. Heavy iron dot. He pulls it out. The box is small. It is covered in thick red rust. It looks like a piece of junk pulled from a shipwreck for 30 years. Elias thought this was a joke. His father used to call it the king's ransom. But they lived in poverty. They ate thin soup. They wore shoes with holes in the soles. Elias always thought his father was delusional. It's a broken man holding onto a dream of gold dot. The box is locked. The keyhole is filled with dust and time. Elias pulls the rusted key from his pocket, the one he has carried like a cursed charm. He inserts it. The metal grinds. Feels like the box is resisting him. Does not want to give up its secrets. He twists the key hard. A sharp metallic snap echoes in the small room. The lock gives way. The smell hits him first. It is not the smell of gold. It is the smell of centuries. It smells like dry earth, old parchment, and something sharp, like iron and salt. It is the smell of a time before skyscrapers, before Sterling Holdings. Before the world became a corporate machine, Elias lifts the lid. There is no gold, no diamonds, no bundles of cash. Just a thick, rolled tube of animal skin. It is tied with a cord made of braided horsehair. The parchment is dark, yellowed by age, feels heavy in his hand. Like it has its own gravity. He unties the cord. His fingers are shaking. Kay unrolls the document on the cold floor. The text is handwritten. The ink is black, but it has a strange reddish tint. In the 19th century, important deeds were often signed in a mixture of ink and the grantor's blood. It was a blood covenant, a promise that could not be broken by time or law. At the top of the page, in ornate, flowing letters, are the words "Sovereign Land Grant of the Thorn Lineage." Elias squint in the dim light. He reads the dates. 1864. He reads the names. His great-great-grandfather, Silas Thorne, a man who was a surveyor for the original city planners. But it is the map at the bottom that makes Elias's breath hitch. It is a hand-drawn grid of the city's heart. The Golden Square, 10 city blocks, centered exactly where the Sterling Tower stands today. The text is written in old formal legal English. It does not talk about selling the land. It talks about a lease of necessity. Elias's eyes fly across the lines. His mind, trained in the patterns of logic and math, begins to decode the trap. The land was never sold to the city. It was never sold to the Sterling family. It was leased for a period of 150 years to provide space for the growth of the municipality. The lease payment, $1 silver per year, to be paid to the eldest Thorne heir. Elias thinks back. He remembers his father talking about a silver dollar. Every Christmas, his father would hold a single silver coin. He said it was the most important dollar in the world. Elias thought he was just being sentimental. He looks at the expiration date on the document, January 1st, 2026. That was 2 days ago. The document states that upon the expiration of the lease, a new agreement is not signed within 48 hours, the land and every improvement upon it shall revert to the sovereign holder. Elias feels a surge of electricity. Improvements in legal terms. An improvement is a building, a road, a server. If the lease is expired, Marcus Sterling does not own the building. He does not own the land. He is a squatter. The document is not just a piece of paper. It is a legal nuclear bomb. Elias looks at the bottom of the page. There is a seal. It is a wax seal, pressed with the crest of the Federal Land Registry. It is still intact. This document has never been challenged, because the world forgot it existed. The Sterling family built their empire on a foundation of sand. They assumed the land was theirs because they were powerful. They stopped paying the silver dollar years ago when Elias's father died. They broke the covenant. Elias touches the reddish ink. The blood of his ancestor. He can feel the weight of 15 years of scrubbing floors. He can feel the weight of Marcus's boot on his hand. The mystery is no longer about the box. The mystery is why his father waited so long. Then he sees a small, folded note tucked inside the back of the roll. It is in his father's handwriting. Elias, if you are reading this, it means they have taken everything from you. Good, a man with nothing, is the only man who can truly take everything back. Do not go to a normal lawyer. Go to the address on the back. Ask for the liquidator. Elias turns the note over. There is an address in the old industrial district, a place where the law doesn't like to go. He looks at his watch. 3 hours left. Sarah is sleeping in a hospital bed. She has no idea that her father is holding the deed to the city's heart. She has no idea that the man who fired him is currently celebrating on stolen ground. Elias rolls the parchment back up. He ties the horsehair cord. He tucks it inside his uniform, next to his heart. He leaves the basement. He does not lock the door. He is never coming back to this hole. The rain has stopped. The air is sharp and clear. The city lights reflect off the puddles. The Sterling Tower glows in the distance. It looks like a pillar of gold. Elias starts to walk. He does not walk with a limp anymore. He walks with a purpose. He is no longer a janitor. He is a landlord. And his tenant is 2 days late on the rent. But as he turns the corner, a black sedan pulls up beside him. The window rolls down. It is the head of Sterling's security. The man who dragged him out of the building. He looks at Elias. He looks at the bulge under his uniform. Mr. Sterling forgot to ask for your locker. Key, Elias. Give it here. Now, the mystery just turned into a hunt. The black sedan creeps forward. It moves like a shark in shallow water. The engine is low. Predators growl. The head of security, a man named Miller, stares at Elias through the tinted glass. He wants the document. He knows it is not just paper. It is a death warrant for the Sterling Empire. Elias does not run. Running makes you a target. He waits for the exact moment a city bus pulls between them. A wall of blue steel and exhaust smoke. In that 3-second window, Elias vanishes. He dives into the mouth of the subway. The air down here is different. It is thick. It smells of ozone, burnt oil, and 1,000 tired lives. He finds a corner in the back of a flickering train car. He sits on a rusted orange seat. His broken hand is tucked inside his coat. Throb, throb, throb. It beats like a second heart. But Elias is not thinking about the pain. He is thinking about the numbers. People look at Elias and see a janitor. They see a man who failed at life. They see a man who spends his days cleaning up other people's messes. But they do not see the mind behind the mop. They do not know that 20 years ago. Elias Thorne was a name whispered in the halls of MIT. He was a math prodigy, a boy who could see the invisible geometry of the world. He didn't see trees. He saw fractals. He didn't see buildings. He saw weight distributions and stress points. He lost his way when the Sterling family stole his first algorithm. They used his brilliance to build their high-frequency trading bots. Then they discarded him. They crushed his career. They buried his reputation. He took the janitor job to stay close to the enemy, to watch them, to wait now. The numbers are coming back to him. They are rushing through his mind like a flood. He pulls the ancient parchment from his coat. He spreads it across his knees. The train screeches as it takes a sharp turn. The lights flicker and die for a moment. In the darkness, Elias sees the map in glowing lines of logic. The Golden Square, that is what the city planners call it. The 10 most valuable blocks in the world. This is where the Sterling Tower sits, surrounded by luxury hotels, private banks, and the heartbeat of global finance. Every square inch of this dirt is worth more than a human life. Elias looks at the coordinates on the 764 deed. His eyes narrow. His brain begins to process the spatial data. He is calculating the area. Latitude 40.71. Longitude 74.00. He remembers the city's official records. He has spent years cleaning the offices of the land registry. He has read the files while emptying the trash. He remembers the official boundary lines, but his mind is telling him something different. The numbers on the parchment do not match the city's maps. He closes his eyes. He builds a mental grid. In the 19th century, surveying was an art of chains and compasses, but the math was absolute. The deed says the lease covers the sovereign allotment. 10 blocks, precisely. He calculates the square footage. 4,356,000 square feet. Then he looks at the lease terms again. $1 silver per year. He does the math. 150 years. Total payment required $150. But here is the catch. The hidden math that Marcus Sterling's army of lawyers missed in 1864. A silver dollar was defined by the Coinage Act. It wasn't just a currency. It was a specific weight of physical silver. The Sterling family hasn't sent a silver coin to the 8th Thorne family since 1974. They started sending paper checks. Eliza's pulse quickens. The air in the subway car feels thin, according to the strict payment clause on page 3. Any deviation from the specified form of currency renders the payment null and void. A paper check is not a silver dollar. This means the lease hasn't been legally paid for 50 years. But it gets deeper. Elias looks at the expiration date, January 1st, 2020-6:40 8 hours ago. The document states that the lease must be renewed before the expiration. If not, the land reverts. But there is a subclause. All structures, improvements, and assets fixed to the soil shall merge with the allodial title. Elias realizes the scale of the trap. It isn't just about the land. The Sterling Tower is an improvement. The underground vaults are improvements. The fiber optic cables that carry billions of dollars in trades every second. They are improvements. If Elias Thorne holds the allodial title and the lease is dead, he doesn't just own the dirt. He owns the building. He owns the gold in the basement. He owns the data in the servers. He owns Marcus Sterling's entire life. The math is perfect. It is elegant. It is a masterpiece of legal geometry. Elias feels a cold shiver run down his spine. The realization hits him like a physical blow. He isn't just a man who found a deed. He is the owner of the most powerful corporation on earth. Legal reversion. It is a ghost of a law from a time when blood and soil meant everything. Marcus Sterling lives in a world of digital numbers and paper contracts. He forgot the foundation. He forgot the earth. Elias looks at his broken hand. The purple skin. The swollen knuckles. This hand, the hand of a peasant, now holds the leash of a billionaire. The train slows down. The voice on the intercom is garbled. Next stop, Industrial District. Elias stands up. He folds the parchment carefully. He can feel the eyes of a man at the end of the car. A man in a dark suit. To clean for this train? Too alert. Sterling's hunters are closing in, but they are playing a game of checkers. Elias is playing a game of multidimensional calculus. He knows where he needs to go. The address on his father's note. The liquidator. He needs a man who can turn this math into a weapon. A man who can file a sovereign injunction before the hospital turns off the machines. He has 2 hours and 40 minutes left. The doors hiss open. Cold air rushes into the car. It smells of rust and rain. Elias steps onto the platform. He does not look back. He knows the man in the suit is following him. He knows the black sedan, slightly waiting at the exit. But he also knows the math. There are 17 possible exits from this station. Only 3 are visible on the city's official map. Elias knows the 4th exit. The one behind the maintenance store. The one he used to clean when the city was still pretending to care about the tunnels. He moves toward the door. He thinks about Sarah. He thinks about her heart. A fragile, beating clock. Hold on, Sarah. Your father is coming. And he is bringing a kingdom with him. He reaches the maintenance door. It is locked. Elias doesn't have a key. But he has the math. He knows the frequency of the lock's tumbler. He knows the exact pressure needed to bypass the old mechanism. He uses his cleaning tool. A small metal pick. Click. The door swings open. He disappears into the dark, into the veins of the city. Behind him, the man in the suit reaches the door. He pulls a gun. He kicks the door, but the door is reinforced steel. It is built to withstand a flood. Elias is gone. He is moving through the shadows, calculating the distance to the liquidator's office, 6 blocks, for minutes. If he avoids the main roads, the realization is fully settled now. The fear is gone, replaced by a cold, mathematical certainty. Marcus Sterling thinks he is a god. But even gods have to pay the rent, and the rent is due in blood and silver. The door to the liquidator's office does not have a name. It only has a number 40. 4 as if the man inside does not exist in the digital world. Elias stands in the hallway. The air is stagnant. It smells of wet concrete and old, dying light bulbs. His heart is a drum, thud, thud, thud. He looks at his watch. 2 hours and 20 minutes left. Sarah is fading. He is her only hope. He pushes the door open. The room is a tomb of paper. Stacks of files reach the ceiling. They look like jagged teeth. There is no window, only a single desk lamp. It casts a harsh, yellow circle on a desk made of green metal. Behind the desk sits a man. He looks like he is carved from gray smoke. His eyes are sharp. They are the eyes of a man who has seen every lie, every betrayal, every broken contract in the history of the city. He does not ask for Elias's name, does not ask what he wants. He simply points to the green chair. Sit. Elias sits. The metal is cold. It bites through his damp uniform. He reaches into his coat. He pulls out the rolled parchment. The animal skin is warm against his palm. He places it on the green desk. The liquidator does not move. He stares at the roll for 10 seconds. The silence in the room is heavy, hums with the sound of a distant fan. The liquidator reaches for a pair of white silk gloves, puts them on slowly. He pulls a jeweler's loop from his drawer. He unties the horsehair cord. He unrolls the deed. The sound of the parchment unfolding is like a dry bone snapping. The liquidator leans in. He examines the blooding. He smells the paper. He touches the wax seal of the Federal Land Registry. 5 minutes pass. Elias watches the shadow of the liquidator's hand on the wall. Looks like a claw. The liquidator looks up. He pushes the loop away. His voice is a raspy whisper. It sounds like gravel on glass. Do you know what this is? Elias nods. A lease. The liquidator shakes his head. It is not just a lease. It is a sovereign reversionary interest. It is the most powerful legal document in the Western Hemisphere. And it is active. He points to the date, January 1st, 1876. Your ancestor, Silas Thorne. He didn't sell this land. He granted a 150-year lease to the city's founding fathers. The terms were absolute. The lease was to expire exactly at midnight on January 1st, 2026. Elias leans forward. The yellow light hits his face. That was 48 hours ago. The liquidator leans back. The chair screams. Exactly. Under the ancient reversion laws of this territory, a leaseholder has exactly 48 hours to file a renewal of occupancy. If they miss the window by even 1 second, the land reverts. Elias feels a chill. What about the building? What about Sterling Holdings? The liquidator smiles. It is a terrifying sight. It is a smile with no teeth. The law of accession. When land reverts under a sovereign grant, it takes everything with it. Every structure, every brick, every dollar inside the vaults, every byte of data in the servers. It all merges with the allodial title. He taps the document. As of 48 hours ago. Marcus Sterling is a trespasser. He is currently sitting in your chair, is drinking your scotch. He is using your money to pay for his guards. He's legally naked. Elias closes his eyes. He thinks about the boot on his hand. He thinks about Marcus laughing in his office. The rage in his chest turns into a cold. Sharp blade. Can we take it back? The liquidator looks at the clock on the wall. It is 9:45 a.m. We don't take it back. We erase him. But we have to move fast. Marcus Sterling's lawyers are currently sleeping. They think they are safe. They think they own the world. They haven't checked the 19th century registries in decades. They believe digital records are the only truth. He pulls a stack of black forms from a drawer. The trap is simple. We file a notice of sovereign eviction. We don't go to a normal court. We go to the Admiralty Court, the court of the land and sea. We present this deed. The judge will have no choice. The law is older than the city. The liquidator starts writing. The pen scratches against the paper. The sound is aggressive. Elias looks at his broken hand. It is still purple. It still aches. but it feels lighter now. What happens to the employees? The liquidator doesn't look up. They belong to the building. You will be their new boss. Or you can fire them all. It is your kingdom. Elias thinks about the guards who dragged him out. He thinks about the secretary with the ice-cold eyes. Thinks about the cleaning crew in the basement. The people like him, who are still scrubbing the floors for a man who hates them. The liquidator stops writing. He holds up a piece of paper. It has a red seal on it. This is the key. This is a writ of possession. Once I file this at the federal building, the city marshal will be forced to act. They will have to clear the building. Elias looks at the paper. How long? The liquidator checks his watch again. 2 hours. Elias feels the panic return. The hospital, Sarah. I don't have 2 hours. The hospital moves her at noon. I need the money now. The liquidator looks at Elias. For the first time, there is a spark of something like respect in his eyes. You don't need the building to save her. You need the assets. He pulls out a smaller phone, a satellite phone. He dials a number. This is the liquidator. Okay, I have a sovereign holder. Authenticate the Thorn deed. Registry 1864. There is a long pause. The room feels like it is holding its breath. The hum of the fan seems to get louder. A voice crackles on the other end of the phone. Elias can't hear the words. But the liquidator's face changes. He looks at Elias. The Federal Reserve has just flagged the Sterling Treasury. They have seen the deed. They are freezing the accounts. Elias's heart skips a beat. Does that mean I can pay the hospital? The liquidator nods as the sovereign holder. You have a legal right to an immediate drawdown for emergency expenses. Give me the hospital's account number. Elias's hands are shaking. He pulls a crumpled piece of paper from his pocket. The medical bill. He reads the numbers. The liquidator speaks into the phone. Transfer $500,000. From the Sterling Holdings Operating Fund to the Mercy General Transplant Center. Reference Sarah Thorne. He hangs up. It is done. Elias sinks into the chair. He feels the air leave his lungs. He wants to cry. He wants to scream. He wants to run to the hospital and hold his daughter. It is not over. Elias the liquidator is standing up. He's putting on a long black coat. The money is just the beginning. Marcus Sterling will see the freeze on his phone in 5 minutes. He will call his lawyers. He will call his guards. He will try to flee. He'll try to hide the assets. We have to go to the tower. We'll have to be there when the marshal arrives. You have to look him in the eye when his world turns to ash. Elias stands up. He feels different. The weight of the world is no longer on his shoulders. It is in his hands. He looks at the rusted iron box on the desk. His father's legacy. It wasn't worthless. It was a weapon. They leave the office. The hallway is still dark, still smelling of dust. But as they walk toward the exit, Elias sees his reflection in a dirty mirror. He is still wearing the gray uniform. It is still wet from the rain. But his eyes are the eyes of a king. The trap is set. The clock is ticking. Dodd the billionaire is about to find out that his empire was built on a lease. He forgot to pay, and the janitor is coming to collect the interest. Elias Thorne is no longer a man. He is a ghost. He has no home to return to. No job to report to. No identity left in the world of the living. To the city. He is a statistic. To Marcus Sterling. He is a bug that was crushed under a $4,000 shoe. But a ghost is the most dangerous thing a billionaire can face. Because a ghost has nothing to lose. And a ghost can walk through walls. The industrial district is a graveyard of rusted dreams. The air here is thick with the smell of wet iron and old grease. The mist clings to Elias's gray uniform, makes him look like a shadow coming to life. He walks beside the liquidator. The tall man in the black coat does not speak. His footsteps are silent on the cracked pavement. He moves with a predatory grace. He does not look like a lawyer. He looks like an executioner. They stop in the shadow of a collapsed warehouse. The silence is heavy. It is the kind of silence that happens before a storm breaks. Elias reaches into his inner pocket. His broken hand stings. The cold air makes the swelling feel like it is filled with broken glass. He pulls out 5 $100 bills. They are the last 5 bills he has. It is the money he had hidden in a jar for Sarah's birthday. It is his last link to a normal life. He holds the money out. The paper's damp from the rain. He looks at the face of Benjamin Franklin, thinks about how hard he worked for these 5 pieces of paper. Thousands of hours of scrubbing, thousands of gallons of bleach. All of it led to this moment. The liquidator takes the money, does not count it. He does not put it in a wallet. He slides it into a hidden pocket in his coat. His gloved fingers are steady. He reaches back into his coat and pulls out a small, black terminal. It is a piece of technology that does not exist in stores. The casing is matte. The screen is a deep, glowing emerald green. Elias watches. The liquidator's fingers move like spiders across the keys. He is not typing a letter. He is writing code. He is entering the dark web. He is bypassing the standard legal channels that Marcus Sterling's army of lawyers can block. He is going through the back door of the system. Elias speaks. His voice is a dry rasp. Why not a lawsuit? The liquidator does not look up. A lawsuit is for people who want to talk. Marcus Sterling owns the judges. He owns the courts. He would tie you up in appeals for 20 years. By the time you won, your daughter would be a memory. He hits a final key. The terminal chirps. A cold, digital sound. We are not filing a lawsuit, Elias. We are filing a notice of eviction for a sovereign territory. Elias narrows his eyes. Explain. The liquidator finally looks at him. His eyes are like 2 chips of flint. Your father's deed is an allodial title. It predates the city's incorporation. In the eyes of the law, that land is not part of the city. It is a sovereign estate, a kingdom of 10 blocks. Marcus Sterling didn't just build a tower, invaded a foreign territory. The realization hits Elias like a physical blow. He thinks about the Golden Square, the high-speed trading servers, the gold vaults. All of it is sitting on land that does not belong to the United States government. It belongs to the Thorne lineage. The liquidator continues. An eviction is immediate. Once the sovereign claim is registered, the tenant has no right to a trial. They have no right to a stay of execution. They are simply out. The green text on the screen begins to scroll faster. The liquidator is uploading the 1864 deed. He is attaching the Federal Land Registry seal. He is sending the document to the one office that even Marcus Sterling cannot influence. The office of the city marshal. The atmosphere shifts. The hum of the terminal seems to vibrate in Elias's teeth. He feels a strange, cold energy. It is the feeling of a world being rewritten, a mile away. In the Sterling Tower, the computers are still humming. The traders are still shouting. The coffee is still being served. They have no idea that their legal foundation has just turned into water. Elias looks at his watch. 1 hour and 40 minutes until the hospital moves, Sarah. Every second is a heartbeat. He can feel the pressure in his chest. It's a tight, burning knot. The liquidator shuts the terminal. The green glow disappears. The alley is dark again. It is done. The marshal has received the writ. The clock has started. Elias looks at the tall man. What now? Now, we go to the tower. The liquidator says, we do not hide anymore. We do not scrub. We do not apologize. We walk through the front door. We wait for the bell to ring. They walk out of the alley. They head toward the center of the city. The skyline looms ahead. The Sterling Tower is the tallest peak. It is covered in blue glass that reflects the gray sky. It looks invincible. It looks eternal. But Elias sees the cracks. He sees the invisible geometry of the math he decoded in the subway. The building is heavy. It is a massive weight of steel and stone, and it is all pushing down on a piece of dirt that belongs to him. He feels a sudden surge of power. It is not the power of a man with a gun. It is the power of a man with the truth. He is the silent ghost. He is the man who was never supposed to matter. As they approach the main boulevard, Elias sees a black sedan driving slowly. It is Miller, the head of security. He is looking for the janitor. He is looking for the man he thinks is a beggar. Elias does not hide. He steps onto the sidewalk. He stands under a street lamp. He looks directly at the sedan. He wants them to see him. He wants Marcus Sterling to know that the ghost is at the gate. The sedan stops. The brake lights glow red like the eyes of a demon. The window rolls down. Miller stares at Elias. He looks at the man in the black coat beside him. Miller's hand goes to his radio. Elias does not move. He does not flinch. He reaches up and touches his badge. The one that says Elias. He rips it off his uniform. He lets it fall into a puddle. The plastic sinks into the dirty water. Elias looks at Miller. He smiles. It is a slow, terrifying smile. Miller speaks into the radio. I found him. He's at the corner of 5th and Main. He's with someone. Send backup. The liquidator steps forward. He stands in front of the car. He does not say a word. He just looks at Miller. Miller feels the cold. He feels the hair on his arms stand up. He has spent 20 years in the military. He has faced killers, but he has never seen a man like the liquidator. The liquidator speaks. His voice is loud enough for Miller to hear, but it is calm. Tell your master to pack his bags. The lease is over. Miller sneers. You're crazy. You're both going to jail. The liquidator shakes his head. No, we are going to the penthouse. Suddenly, Miller's phone on the dashboard begins to scream. It is an emergency alert, but it is not a weather alert. It is a corporate-wide notification. Elias can see the screen from where he stands. Count access denied. Treasury frozen. Security clearances revoked. The tension in the air snaps. The siren of a distant police car begins to wail. Then another. Then a third. They are not coming for Elias. They are coming to enforce the eviction. Elias looks at the tower. The lights on the top floor are flickering. The digital stock ticker on the side of the building is stalling. The numbers are turning red. The silent ghost has arrived. And he is not alone. But as the first police cruiser turns the corner, Elias sees something else. A heavy, armored truck is pulling out of the Sterling Tower's loading dock. It is moving fast. It is trying to escape before the perimeter is locked down. Elias knows what is in that truck. It is the hard drives, the physical gold, the evidence of Marcus's crimes. If that truck gets away, the victory is empty. Elias looks at the liquidator. The liquidator nods. The hunt is on, 80 floors above the misery of the streets. The air is different. It is thin. It is expensive. It smells of imported lilies and $5,000 an ounce perfume. This is the grand ballroom of Sterling Holdings, a cathedral of glass and gold. Tonight, it is the center of the universe. Marcus Sterling is standing at the center of the room. He is the sun. Every person in this room is a planet orbiting his ego. He is wearing a tuxedo that costs more than a family car. He holds a glass of crystal. The champagne inside is the color of a dying star. Tonight is the coronation. The $20 billion merger with Goliath Capital is complete. Marcus has reached the peak. He has climbed over the bodies of his rivals. He has stepped on the hands of the poor. He feels untouchable. He feels like a god. The room is a sea of silk and shadows. The elite of the city are all here. Senators, bankers, developers. They laugh with their heads tilted back. They show their perfect, white teeth. They talk about the future. A future where they own everything. A future where people like Elias Thorne do not exist. The sound in the room is a roar of success. A string quartet plays in the corner. The music is light, airy. It masks the sounds of the deals being made in the corners. The smell of expensive cigars begins to mix with the floral scents. It is the smell of power. It is a heavy, musky scent that settles in the back of the throat. Marcus raises his glass. The room goes quiet. Even the bubbles in the champagne seem to stop rising. He looks out at his guests. He looks out at the city through the massive floor-to-ceiling windows. The lights below look like fallen diamonds to the future. Marcus says, his voice is smooth. It is the voice of a man who has never been told no, to a world without limits. To the Sterling legacy. The crowd cheers. It is a polite, controlled sound. They drink. They congratulate each other. Marcus feels a vibration in his pocket. It is his phone. He pulls it out. He expects a congratulatory text from the governor. Instead, he sees a red notification. Account access denied. He frowns. He taps the screen. The glass feels cold under his thumb. He tries his personal account. Balance unavailable. He feels a slight, sharp chill in his chest. It is a sensation he hasn't felt in a decade. Fear, but he pushes it down. Arrogance is a powerful drug. He assumes it is a glitch, a server error. He puts the phone back in his pocket. He smiles at his senator's wife. He tells a joke, but the air in the room is changing. The climate control system hums in the background. It is a constant, low-frequency sound. But suddenly, the hum changes pitch. It becomes a groan. A mechanical sigh. Marcus notices a flicker in the chandeliers. The thousands of crystals tremble. A tiny, sharp sound, like a million needles hitting glass. Then the music stops. The string quartet freezes. The lead violinist looks at the ceiling. The silence that follows is not a normal silence. It is a physical weight. It is the silence hum of a building losing its soul. The power cuts. In a single heartbeat. The 81st floor is plunged into total darkness. The city below disappears. The stars disappear. The only thing left is the smell of ozone. The sharp, burnt scent of a massive electrical surge. The elite gasp. Someone drops a glass. The sound of the crystals shattering on the marble is like a gunshot. It echoes in the void. Marcus stands still. His heart is pounding against his ribs. Thud, thud, thud. He can feel the sweat beginning to break on his forehead. The room is suddenly cold. The heat has been cut. The oxygen feels thin. Panic begins to ripple through the room. People are reaching for their phones. 100 tiny screens light up like fireflies in a tomb. But their screens are all the same. Emergency protocol. Sovereign reversion. They don't understand the words, but they feel the meaning. Suddenly, at the far end of the ballroom, a sound begins. It is a heavy, grinding sound. The sound of wood against wood. The massive oak doors. The ones that weigh 3 tons. The ones that are locked with a digital military-grade system. They are opening, but they aren't being unlocked by a code. They are being opened by force. The groan of the hinges is a long, screaming sound. It sounds like a monster waking up in the basement. The doors swing wide, a shaft of pale gray light from the emergency stairwell cuts through the darkness. It creates a path of dust and shadows. 2 figures stand in the doorway. The first is a man in a long, black coat. He looks like he is made of the night itself. He holds a piece of parchment. It is yellow. It looks like a dead thing. The second man is smaller. He is wearing a gray uniform. It is stained with rain. It is wrinkled. He looks like a man who has been living in the dirt. But as he steps into the light, the room goes completely still. It is Elias, but it is not the Elias who scrubbed the floors this morning. His back is straight. His head is held high. His eyes are not the eyes of a servant. They are the eyes of a judge. He walks into the room. His boots click on the marble, clack, 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 clack. It is the exact same sound. Marcus's shoes made this morning. Elias stops 10 feet from Marcus. The liquidator stands behind him, like a shadow. The guests are backing away. They are moving toward the windows. They are leaving Marcus alone in the center of the floor. Marcus finds his voice. It is shaky. It is high-pitched. Elias, what is the meaning of this? How did you get past security? Elias does not answer. He looks at the glass of champagne in Marcus's hand. The liquidator steps forward. He pulls a small brass bell from his pocket. He rings it once. The sound is clear. It is chilling. The liquidator speaks. His voice is a deep, cinematic rumble. The gala is over. The tenant is in default. Marcus laughs. A frantic, barking sound tenant. I own this building. I own this company. Guards, arrest these men. He looks at the doors. He expects Miller and the security team to rush in. He expects the violence he paid for to protect him. But no one comes down in the silence. The sound of heavy footsteps begins to echo from the hallway. Many footsteps. A squad of men in dark blue uniforms appears. They aren't Sterling security. They are the city marshals. They are carrying federal eviction notices. The lead marshal walks up to Marcus. He does not look at his tuxedo. He does not look at his title. He looks at a piece of paper. Marcus Sterling, you are in violation of a sovereign land grant. This territory has reverted to the sequator, have reverted to the allodial holder. The marshal points to Elias Thorne. The room is paralyzed. The senators, the bankers. They look at Elias. They see the man they ignored. They see the ghost of the city. Marcus's glass slips from his hand. It hits the floor. The champagne splashes his shoes. The same shoes that crushed Elias's hand. This is a mistake. Marcus screams. I have contracts. I have lawyers. The liquidator holds up the 1864 deed. The blood dink glows in the dim light. You had a lease, Marcus. It expired 48 hours ago. You didn't pay the silver dollar. You didn't respect the soil. Elias finally speaks. His voice is low. It is calm. It is the sound of a predator that has already won. You told me to move. Marcus, you called me a peasant. Elias takes a step forward. He looks Marcus in the eye. Now I am telling you. Get out of my house. The climax has started. The elite are realizing that their fortunes are tied to a man who just lost everything. The power is still out. The air is getting colder, but the heat in Elias's chest is a sun. He looks at the doors. He looks at the marshals. Begin the seizure. The shadows in the room are moving. They are not just shadows. They are the heralds of a new king. The red emergency lights strobe across the faces of the billionaires. It makes the ballroom look like it is under a layer of blood. The champagne in the glasses has stopped bubbling. The air is thick. It smells of ozone and the metallic temps of fear. The silence is so deep you can hear the sweat breaking on the foreheads of the elite. Elias. Thorne walks through the massive oak doors. He does not hurry. He does not stumble. He moves with the measured, rhythmic grace of a man who knows the ground belongs to him. He is not wearing rags. He is not covered in the dust of the basement. He is wearing a tailored charcoal suit. The wool is fine. It is heavy. It is the color of a deep winter sky. The silk lining rustles like a secret. He smells of cedar, expensive leather, and a cold, unflinching victory. Every stitch of his suit is a weapon. The fit is perfect. It hides the thin, tired frame of the janitor. It reveals the sharp, hard angles of the sovereign. His back is a straight line of iron. His head is held high. His eyes are not looking at the floor. They are looking through the people in the room. They are looking at the future behind him. The doors do not close. They are held open by the weight of authority. The city marshal walks on his left. He wears a dark blue uniform. His silver badge catches the red strobe light. It flashes like a warning signal. On Elias's right is the Federal Guard. These are not private security. They are not men you can buy with a merger or a bribe. They are the physical hand of the law. They carry tactical gear that looks matte and heavy in the dim light. Their presence is a physical weight. It pushes the billionaires back toward the glass walls. Elias stops in the center of the room. He is 10 feet away from Marcus Sterling. Marcus is a wreck. His tuxedo is damp with champagne and sweat. His hair is messy. He looks like a man who has just seen a ghost. Because he has. He is looking at the man he stepped on. He is looking at the man he tried to erase. The marshal speaks. His voice is a dry, Official RASP. This building is now a sovereign territory under the 1864 Thornland Grant. All commercial activities are suspended. All private assets are frozen. The guests begin to whisper. The sound is like dry leaves on a sidewalk. They are looking for the exits. They are checking their phones. But the phones are dead. The network belongs to the land. And the land belongs to Elias. Elias does not speak yet. He walks toward the long, crystal bar. The bartender is frozen. His hands are shaking. Elias reaches out. He picks up a bottle of the $40,000 scotch. The same one Marcus was bragging about 5 minutes ago. He looks at the label. He looks at the golden liquid inside. He turns the bottle in his hand. The glass is cold. He can feel the condensation on his skin. He does not pour a drink. He simply places the bottle back on the counter. But he places it 2 inches to the left, in the exact spot he wants it. He is not here to protest. He is not here to ask for his job back. He is not here to beg for his daughter's life. He is here to collect. He walks to the center of the ballroom. He looks at the massive hand-woven rug. It is a masterpiece of silk and wool. He remembers cleaning a red wine stain off this rug 3 years ago. Marcus had screamed at him for 10 minutes. Marcus had threatened to dock his pay for a month. Elias looks at Marcus. "I want this rug moved." Elias says. His voice is a low, cinematic rumble. It is calm. It is terrifying. Marcus stares at him. "What?" Elias repeats himself. "I want this rug moved. It is mine now, along with the floor beneath it. And the air you are currently breathing. The tables have turned so fast the room feels like it is spinning. The billionaires who were laughing 10 minutes ago are now looking at their shoes. They are realizing that their wealth is built on a foundation that just vanished. They are realizing that Marcus Sterling is no longer a king. He is a squatter in a borrowed suit. The Federal Guard moves to the edges of the room. They begin to place yellow, sovereign seizure tape over the doors. They are locking the elite inside their own cage. No one leaves until the inventory is complete. Marcus tries to take a step forward. The marshal puts a hand on his chest. "Stay back, Mr. Sterling. You are no longer authorized to move freely in this facility." Marcus's face turns a deep, angry red. "This is my building. I built this. I paid for every brick." Elias looks at the ceiling. He looks at the gold leaf and the crystal chandeliers. "No, Marcus, you paid for the paint. You paid for the decorations. But the bricks are mine. The steel is mine. The very ground this tower sits on has been waiting for me to come home. The sensory details of the room are changing. The smell of the lilies is being replaced by the smell of cold, outside air. The marshal has opened the service vents. The hum of the building is different now. It is the sound of a heart stopping. Elias walks over to the CEO's private chair. It is made of hand-stitched Italian leather. It sits on a platform overlooking the city. Elias runs his fingers over the back of the chair. It is soft, it is warm. He sits down. He leans back. The leather creaks. It is a slow, satisfying sound. He looks out the window. The city is a sea of lights. But for the first time in his life, he isn't looking at the city from the basement. He is looking at it from the throne. He looks at his bandaged hand, the one Marcus crushed. The pain is a dull throb. But it is a good pain. It is the pain of a debt being paid in full. Marcus is shouting now. He is calling his lawyers. He is screaming into a dead phone. He is a man drowning in a desert. Elias looks at the marshal. "Begin the collection of the digital assets. I want the Sterling Treasury moved to the Thorns Sovereign Trust." Now, the Federal Guard pulls out a black suitcase. Inside is a hardware key. They plug it into the main server port in the wall. The screen on the wall, which was showing the merger logo, suddenly changes. The numbers begin to scroll. Billions of dollars moving, shifting, flowing away from Marcus Sterling. The room is silent. The only sound is the digital ping of the transfers. Each ping is another $100 million. Each ping is another piece of Marcus's soul being erased. The elite guests are watching their own investments vanish. They are watching the end of an era. Elias looks at Marcus. He smiles. It is a slow, sharp smile. You forgot one thing, Marcus. Marcus stops shouting. He looks at Elias. What? What did I forget? Elias leans forward. The red strobe light hits his eyes. You forgot to clean the floor. The tables have not just turned. They have been flipped over. And the man on the floor is no longer Elias. But as the final transfer nears completion, a secondary alarm begins to scream. Not a power alarm. A security alarm. The screen turns a deep, burning red. Warning. Unauthorized vault breach in progress. Marcus's eyes widen. A small, cruel smile touches his lips. Elias realizes the collection isn't finished. Marcus has a backup plan. A secret buried even deeper than the land. The climax isn't over. It has just entered the dark. The vault alarm is a high-pitched scream. It tears through the luxury of the 81st floor. The sound is sharp. It is violent. It cuts through the smell of expensive perfume and aged scotch like a jagged blade. Marcus Sterling is still smiling. But the smile is brittle. It is a mask of glass. He thinks the alarm is his salvation. He thinks his security team has triggered a lockdown to save him. He believes the digital fortress he built will protect his secrets. He is wrong. The city. Marshall does not move toward the alarm. He does not reach for a weapon. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a government-tissued tablet. The screen glows with a cold, blue light. He taps a single command. The alarm dies. It does not fade away. It snaps off. The sudden silence is heavier than the noise. It is a suffocating physical weight. It hums in the ears of the billionaires. It is the silence of a tomb. The red strobe lights stop. The normal, warm golden lights of the ballroom flicker back to life. But they feel different now. They feel like interrogation lights. The marshal steps forward. His boots make a heavy, final sound on the marble. Thud, thud, thud. He stops inches from Marcus. He is a wall of dark blue wool and cold. Institutional authority. He looks at Marcus as if he is a stain on the floor. Marcus tries to stand tall. He adjusts his tuxedo. He tries to summon the ghost of his power. This is an illegal seizure. My lawyers will have your badge by morning. Do you have any idea who I am? The marshal clears his throat. The sound is like sandpaper on stone. He does not look at Marcus's face. He looks at his tablet. Mr. Sterling, I know exactly who you are. Or rather, I know who you used to be. He turns the tablet around so Marcus can see the screen. It is a stream of data. Red lines of text are crossing out names. Deleting accounts. Revoking permissions. This is not a lawsuit, Marcus. This is institutional erasure. The marshal's voice is flat. It is the voice of a man reading a weather report. But the words are a death sentence. Under the 1864 allodial land grant, this entire square, from the bedrock to the sky, is private sovereign property. It has been for exactly 48 hours. You did not pay the silver dollar. You did not renew the covenant. The marshal takes a deep breath. He looks at the guests. Then back to the villain. Mr. Sterling, you are trespassing on private property. Marcus laughs. A frantic, barking sound. Trespassing. I built this tower. I own the company. I own the air you are breathing. The marshal shakes his head. Not anymore. Every cent in the underground vaults, every bar of gold, every physical bond. It was all collateralized against the land lease. The lease is dead. Therefore, the collateral is forfeited. He taps the screen again. Every server in this building, every line of proprietary code, every trade secret. They are improvements to the sovereign soil. They have merged with the allodial title. The guests begin to back away. They are moving toward the edges of the room. They are trying to separate themselves from the man who is being erased. They are the vultures of Wall Street. and they can smell the rot. The marshal continues, his voice getting lower. More intimate than $20 billion from the Goliath merger. It hit the Sterling Treasury account 3 minutes ago. But the Sterling Treasury no longer belongs to the Sterling family. He points to Elias, who is sitting in the CEO's chair.com/still, like a statue of retribution. Those funds have been automatically diverted to the Thorn Sovereign Trust. You are currently penniless. Mr. Sterling Marcus's face pales. It is an instant transformation. He goes from the flush of anger to the color of a bone. His skin looks thin, translucent. You can see the veins in his neck pulsing like trapped worms. He looks like a man who has been drained of his blood. He tries to speak. No sound comes out. His throat is a desert. His tongue is a heavy weight. But the marshal is not finished. He looks down at Marcus's feet. And then there is the matter of the personal assets. He points to the $4,000 Italian leather loafers. The ones Marcus used to crush Ilias's hand. Those shoes were purchased with a corporate expense account. An account funded by the Sterling Treasury. The marshal looks Marcus in the eye. The shoes on your feet now belong to Mr. Elias Thorne. The room is paralyzed. The silence is so deep you can hear the ice melting in the discarded glasses. The sensory details are overwhelming. The smell of the ozone from the server reset. The scent of Marcus's expensive cologne turning sour as he breaks into a cold sweat. The physical sensation of the air getting colder as the building systems transition to the new owner. Marcus looks down at his shoes. He looks like he is standing on a ledge. He realizes the scale of the defeat. This is not just a loss of money. It is the loss of his existence. In the eyes of the law, he is a non-entity. He has no bank account. He has no passport. He has no home. He is a ghost in a tuxedo. Ely speaks. His voice is a low hum. It vibrates in the crystal on the tables. It is hypnotic. It is serious. You told me this morning that I was a ghost, Marcus. You said I was a floor scrubber. Elias stands up. He walks toward Marcus. The marshal steps aside. Elias stops. He looks at his own bandaged hand. Then he looks at Marcus's shoes. I don't want your shoes. Marcus, they are dirty. Elias looks at the marshal. Take him. The federal guard steps forward. They don't use silver handcuffs. They use black plastic zip ties. The sound of the plastic zipping shut is a sharp, cheap sound. It is the sound of Marcus's status being stripped away. They don't lead him out through the grand ballroom. They lead him toward the service elevator, the one the janitors use, the one that smells of bleach and old mops. The elite guests are watching in horror. They are realizing that their investments, their futures, were tied to a man who was built on a lie. They look at Elias. They are looking for a new master to serve. They are ready to bow. Elias ignores them. He looks at the liquidator. Is the hospital payment confirmed? The liquidator nods. Sarah is in surgery. The best doctors in the world are with her now. Elias feels the first tear of the night. It is hot. It is real. He has won. He has saved his daughter. He has erased his enemy. But the liquidator's face is not relaxed. He is looking at the monitors on the wall. The institutional erasure triggered a secondary protocol. Elias narrows his eyes. What protocol? The liquidator points to the window. The Sterling family didn't just own the building. They owned the debt of the city. When their accounts were frozen, the city's payroll froze with it. Elias looks down at the streets below. The police sirens are getting louder. But they aren't coming to the tower. They are stopping at the intersections. The people are realizing the money is gone. The anger is spreading. The institutional erasure didn't just destroy Marcus. It broke the city. The climax is reaching a new peak. Elias realizes that owning the kingdom means he is responsible for the fire. The final checkmate move has been played. But the board is starting to burn. The ballroom is a graveyard. The music has stopped. The laughter has turned into a choking silence. The only sound left is the frantic tapping of Marcus, Sterling's fingers on his glass screen. Tapping, sliding, swiping. His thumb is shaking. Violently, he can barely hold the device. The light of the phone reflects in his wide, bloodshot eyes. He looks like a man trying to find a heartbeat in a corpse. He hits the speed dial for his lead attorney, the man who charges $10,000 an hour to make problems disappear. The phone does not ring. There is no dial tone. There is no busy signal. There is only a black screen with 3 words in white text: "Account access revoked." Marcus gasps for air. The smell of the room has changed. It no longer smells of success and lilies. It smells of panic. It smells of the ozone from the dead servers and the cold sweat of a man who has lost his soul. He looks at his 3 lawyers standing by the oak doors. They are not looking at him. They are looking at their own phones. Their faces are the color of ash. One of them, a man who has defended senators and kings, drops his phone on the marble. The screen shatters. He looks at the city marshal. My retainer. The lawyer whispers. His voice is thin, like paper tearing. The transfer from the Sterling Group has been reversed. My personal accounts. They're frozen. The marshal does not blink. Every dollar associated with the Sterling name is under a sovereign lien. You are representing a client with 0 assets. The lawyer turns. He does not look back at Marcus. He does not say a word. He simply walks out of the room. He leaves his client alone in the ruins of an empire. The other to follow. They walk with their heads down. They are rats leaving a sinking ship. Marcus is alone. He falls to his knees. The marble is cold. It is the same floor Elias cleaned for 15 years. Marcus looks up at the throne, the massive desk made of petrified wood, the chair that costs more than a doctor's salary. Elias Thorne is sitting in it. He does not look like a janitor. He looks like a force of nature. He leans back. The leather creaks. It is a slow, heavy sound. It is the sound of a man who has finally found his place in the world. He rests his hands on the desk. His right hand is steady. His left hand is bandaged, a reminder of the price he paid. Elias looks at Marcus. He does not look with hate. Hate is too much emotion. He looks with the cold, mathematical precision of a man who has balanced the books. The silence in the room is absolute. The guests are gone. The marshals are standing at the perimeter. The only people left in the center of the world are the king and the squatter. Elias speaks. His voice is low. It carries the weight of 15 years of silence. The math of your life is simple. Marcus, you took what was not yours. You built a tower on a foundation of theft. You thought the rules did not apply to you because you were the one writing the checks. Elias pulls a small silver coin from his pocket. He places it on the desk. It spins. It's a soft, metallic hum. But you forgot the most basic rule of the earth. You must pay for the ground you stand on. Marcus looks at the coin. He looks at the man in the charcoal suit. He tries to find his voice. He tries to summon the old arrogance. But there is nothing left. The well is dry. Elias reaches under the desk. He pulls out a plastic bucket. It is gray. It is battered. It is filled with cold, soapy water. He places it on the floor next to Marcus. Then he drops a heavy, wet rag on the marble, the sound of the wet rag hitting the floor. It's like a slap. Splat. Marcus, Flinches. Elias leans forward. He looks into Marcus's eyes. You told me this morning that the floor was dirty. You told me to move. You said I was a peasant. Elias points to a spot on the floor. A small smudge of mud from Marcus's own frantic pacing. You forgot to clean the floor. Marcus shakes his head. Tears are streaming down his face. They ruin the perfect lines of his tuxedo. Please, Elias, I have a family. I have a name. Elias's face does not change. I had a daughter in a hospital bed. You fired me. You stole her surgery money. You tried to erase her life for a line of text and a contract. He stands up. He walks around the desk. He stands over Marcus. He is a giant of shadow and light. Your name is gone. Your family has been evicted. You are not a CEO. You are not a billionaire. You are a trespasser. Elias looks at the marshal. Is the inventory complete? The marshal nods. Every asset has been transferred to the Thorn Trust. The Sterling name has been legally deleted from the registry. Elias looks back at Marcus. Get to work. Marcus looks at the bucket. He looks at the rag. He looks at the shoes on his feet, the shoes that now belong to Elias. He realizes there is no escape. There is no lawyer. There is no back door. The system he used to crush others has finally crushed him. He reaches out. His hand is trembling. He touches the cold, soapy water. He picks up the rag. It is heavy. It is wet. He begins to scrub. The sound of the rag on the marble is the final sound of the Sterling dynasty. Scrub, rinse, repeat. Elias walks away. He doesn't look back. He walks toward the massive windows. The sun is beginning to rise over the city. The light hits the glass. It turns the ballroom into a room of pure gold. His phone rings. He answers it on the first vibration. Yes, it is the hospital. The surgeon's voice is warm, Mr. Thorne. The surgery was a success. Sarah is stable. She is asking for her father. Elias closes his eyes. He lets out a breath he has been holding for 15 years. The tightness in his chest finally snaps. He feels a warmth spread through his body. Thank you, he whispers. I am on my way. He hangs up. He looks at the city. It is his city now. Not because he wants the power, but because the land finally found a keeper who cares for the soil. He walks toward the doors. He passes the man on the floor. Marcus is still scrubbing. He is sobbing. He is a broken, pathetic figure in a ruined suit. Elias stops for a moment. He looks at the 1864 deed sitting on the desk. He thinks about his father. He thinks about the silver dollar. He thinks about the math of justice. The calculation is complete. L justice equals int_0t. PBD. T where P is the pain endured and B is the betrayal. When the integral reaches the peak of the summit, the debt is paid. Elias exits the grand ballroom. He leaves the ghost of the past behind. He walks into the elevator. The doors close with a soft, golden hum. He is going to the hospital. He is going to see his daughter. The janitor who owned the world is finally going home, and in the ballroom, the only sound left is the rhythm of a man scrubbing the floor he once thought he owned. The final satisfaction is not the money. It is not the building. It is the silence.